welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Corey.
Good day, and I'm joined by the host, Corey.
Yeah, the Coreys are back. Corey, it was a good weekend.
It was pretty good. Only caught one game, but it was a doozy.
Yeah, it was a good game. We were at North Pro on Saturday night, which was also phenomenal.
It was good to see the boys. It was good to see some wrestling. We'll leave our thoughts and opinions for Wrestling with the Bros podcast, but phenomenal wrestling show.
Yeah, it was a good time. Let's get into the schedule over the weekend for the BSHL. Corey, where are we starting?
Friday night, Tracadie beat Shippigan 6-5 in a shootout. Some highlights from that one. Alex Savoie from Tracadie. He got a hat trick. Tracadie's Nicolas Richard, 3 assist night. Shippigan, not to be undone. Shippigan's Billy Bezo, 1 goal, 1 assist. And his brother, Tommy Bezo, 3 assists. Seems to be a fantastic game.
Yeah, it looks like we missed a really good one, man. I know that I was on the fence of going to this one at some points on Friday, but I was just exhausted from work, so I didn't. And then it went to a shootout, and I regretted it. So, that's what happens in life.
Yeah.
The
Bezos, they seem to be the ace in the hole for Shippigan.
Shippigan's done everything possible but win a game this year. Unreal.
Yep. We keep saying it every week. They're sneaky good. They can't rack up that first win.
Yeah.
God. This was their first point, though.
Yeah, their first points. They're on the board with some points. Everybody that was at the game. I know there was a phenomenal fight between Bulger and Schmierer that I've probably watched.
I think
5
I
times.
Saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times.
Yeah.
It was just, good fight, man. Some good stuff. Saturday, yep. What did we have on the schedule?
Saturday, we start off with River Valley beating Shippigan 7-1. River Valley's Brett McLean, he had a hell of a game for himself. 2 goals, 4 points.
Nice.
Benji Curtis got 2 goals, 3 points. And one of the Bezos again, Billy Bezo, 1 goal on that game. Very one-sided beating, though.
Yeah, that's what I heard from everybody, was that it was very much all River Valley. That happens. I mean, I wish the website would track how many shots on net and stuff like that, but that is not there. Hopefully someday.
No. Someday.
What's the second game on Saturday? I think I already know it.
Spring Hill beat Dalhousie 5-4. So Dalhousie, we asked that question last week. How does Dalhousie come back from a loss?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I'm not going to say not good, because it was a very close game.
Yeah.
It was very close, 5-4. Spring Hill's Cody Orr, 1 goal, 3 points. Dalhousie's Jesco Bernard, he notches his 10th goal.
Yeah. Dalhousie losing to Spring Hill, I mean, it's an upset from what we would have expected a couple weeks ago, but Spring Hill's been playing phenomenal lately. So,
Absolutely.
Good on them, man. They're gelling really well, it seems like, and we're not done with Spring Hill this weekend. So keep going, Corey.
No, we are not. But before we get back to Spring Hill, we go to Tracadie. Tracadie beat the Hawks 7-6. And shout out to our young buddy Sebastien. Seb. He was at this game, and he told me it was tied 6-6, and Tracadie scored within the last minute.
Oof.
So the Hawks couldn't even leave with a point. Tracadie's Danny Chiasson, 2 goals, 3 points. Tracadie's Jeremy Duguay, 3 assists. LC Pucktuck's Daniel Crate with 2 goals and 3 points. And LC Pucktuck's Robbie Graham, 1 goal, 3 points. Still looked like a hell of a game.
Man, it looked phenomenal. I know that you mentioned Sebastien. Sebastien was streaming some of that, and I watched some of it during the intermission at the North Pro show. And First of all, it looked like he was sitting on the ice. He was in like the front row, and I actually messaged him like,
Yeah,
are you on the ice?" Because it was an incredibly close angle. I'm sure.
he was sitting next to me yesterday, and he said all he was doing was moving his phone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, where was it? He was like, just on like the partition, just just laying it there, turning it, turning it, turning it. So good on him for getting such a good view.
Yeah, good on him for streaming some of it. I know we get a lot of messages asking if we're going to start streaming games. We tend to have issues with the internet in most rinks. So I know last night we were in Rishabakto. There's too many people at the rink, and it tends to just bog down the 5G. But we will be considering
Hmm.
uploading less and streaming more at some point. But for now, if I do find any streams, I'll be sure to share them on the page.
Yeah. I think Bucktoosh and Miramichi are the only ones that like actively stream it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Baktouche definitely does. One of the volunteers, one of the team members, does it, and then in Miramichi, there's a lady, Roxanne Merrill Young, who streams them. So if you want to see any Miramichi games,
Oh yeah,
Roxanne Merrill
you.
Young.
I remember you pointed her out when we went to Miramichi last week. As I was leaving the Hawks game, when they took on Shippigan, there was this man there. He had two laptops, a camera, and a boom mic, and he was
Two
streaming
laptops,
the game.
two laptops,
Two laptops,
two cameras.
two cameras,
Yeah, oh yeah,
and he had a boom mic.
yeah.
And I was like, wow. And nothing yesterday though.
Nothing is. I
But
can't remember his name. I did talk to him before the game. Super nice guy. I'll be sure to get his name and share that with the followers because yeah, people just love to watch the BSHL, and sometimes you just can't get out to the game. So it's nice when stuff's streamed, but
yep,
tough sometimes.
yeah.
Talking about
Uh,
LC,
the sole game on Sunday, the LC Buck Duck Hawks beat the Spring Hill Coal Miners 5-4 in a very close, very intense, very rough game. Just a few highlights. LC Puck Ducks, Tyler Brown knotted 2 goals and 3 points. Spring Hill's Jordan Wenzel, 2 goals. Um, this could be game of the week for me, but I went with a different game, even though I didn't see it. But this game was a fantastic game, very close again. Um, just an absolutely great game.
yeah, a lot of back and forth action. It looked like the Hawks were starting to take over, and Spring Hill would just battle back. Man, they were. Yeah, there was just
Hmm.
no quit in Spring Hill. Um, one thing that I will say about that game, the refing was god awful. Just terrible refing in that game.
On both sides.
On both sides. Yeah, no, just the refing was shit for everybody. I think
Yeah.
everybody's blood pressure was
Uh,
up. It just wasn't good.
yeah. We're not favoring a team over the other. The refereeing was bad for both. And it's not the first time we've seen that this season. Um, and not just with these two teams. Like the refereeing is really bad lately. Like missed calls. Um, I almost wanted to call a few of them Wes McCully.
There was no missed calls yesterday, though. Everything was being called. Sneezing on a player would have been a penalty. It just felt like everything was getting called.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you gotta let a little bit go sometimes.
yeah. So those were the games. Corey, your game of the week.
Eh, it's probably so it could have been Trackety versus LC, but there was definitely a lot of Hawks players missing from that game. I don't feel like
Hmm.
that's a fair representation of what that. Although I think a fair representation would still be a really close game. It's just unfortunate that the Hawks are missing so many guys. I think
Yeah,
Shippigan and Trackety being the rivalry that they are, it lived up to the hype. So that's probably the game of the week for me. Corey, what about you?
I agree with you. Trakadi and Shippigan going to a shootout.
Yeah.
Um, just seeing Billy and Tommy Bezzo show their dominance in a team that's struggling right now. Seeing a hat trick from Savoie and a 3 assist night for Richard. I wish I could have seen this game.
Yeah,
Fortunately, I couldn't. But I'm going with my gut, and I'm saying that was game of the week.
yeah, I agree. Um, it looked like there was a lot of good games. Though. I mean, that Spring Hill Dalhousie game on the weekend looked like it was phenomenal as well.
It's funny, the BSHL is such a fantastic league. Like when we say that, we're not blowing smoke up there, you know what. The hockey's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch this than NHL right now.
and the hockey's even better this year than it's ever been.
Yeah,
Early on, we
I
heard a
don't
lot
know
of
why that.
people complaining about the import rule and not being fans of the import rule. I'll come out and say it right now. If it meant that this league is this even, I love the import rule. Keep it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, we're gonna get into the points leader for this week and the goals leader. So we're gonna try to do this every week. Corey, the points leader.
Big change here. Everybody hold on to your hats. Pascal
Hold,
Valcourt?
hold your britches. Pascal Valcourt has 19 points. It's not even close. Not even close. All obviously from Dalhousie. His tag team partner from Dalhousie, Jesco Bernard, he leads the league in goals at 10.
That's a little bit closer,
10
though.
goals. A little bit closer. But 10 goals in 7 games, it's impressive.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty stellar. Um,
So they only had 1 game this weekend, and they still managed to sneak some points in and some goals. You know,
absolutely.
um, Dalhousie. Do you want to get into the standings now?
Yeah, the standings did change a lot this week.
A little bit. So the way I wrote it down this week from 1 to 8,
Sure.
I put their points if they went up or down, and by how much,
Sure.
and their current league record.
All right.
So at number 1, the Dalhousie Marauders are still number 1 with 10 points. They were at number 1 last week. They are 5-2. At number 2, up 2 points from last week, we have the Spring Hill Coal Miners with 9 points, 4 wins, 3 losses, 1 OT loss.
They moved up in the standings, didn't they?
They moved up 2 points.
Not bad.
The Not bad at all. The LC Buck Duck Hawks are number 3, 8 points. They moved up 1 slot. They were 4 last week. They moved up 1 slot. They are 4-2. Number 4, the Tracadie Alpines, 8 points. They went up 1 spot. They are 4-1, but 1 game less is played. Here's where I was a little shocked. In 5th place, down 4 spots, Miramichi Northmen with 8 points, 4-1 record. They did not play this weekend though,
Yeah.
so that could change easily. And unfortunately, there's a big drop off after that. Number 6, staying, and the next 3 teams, it has not changed. So the River Valley Lumberjacks, 2 wins, 3 losses for 4 points. The Bucktooth JCs, who did not play this weekend, 2 points, 1 win, 4 losses. And at number 8, Shippigan Marchand, they finally have a point, but they are 0-6-1.
Yeah. River Valley did pick up a couple of points, so they're moving a little bit closer. But
Yes,
they're
they moved up. They stayed the same though.
they stayed the same. They've moved a little bit closer in points. Yeah, there's you know who would have predicted Spring Hill having this kind of a start?
I don't think anybody would have predicted it. I think they've played more games than most teams though.
Yeah, they have 8 games
So
played.
there's that.
Yeah. Still though, even with 8 games played, man, good on them for they if they would have beat the Hawks
Absolutely,
yesterday, they would be sitting alone in first place.
they would have been first.
Yeah.
If they would have went to OT,
Yeah.
which looked like it could have happened,
Yeah.
they would have been tied. at least for first place. I think Dalhousie would have had the tiebreaker
Yeah.
because they have more wins. But 3-5, it's still 8 points each. The Hawks, it's 4-2. The other two teams, it's 4-1. So there's an argument to be made that did Miramichi really drop 4 spots? Because really, it's a three-way tie.
Yeah.
I don't know where the tiebreaker is there because Tracadie technically beat the Hawks. I would have thought that would have been the tiebreaker, but the way the website has it written, Hawks are third, Alpines are fourth, and the Northmen are fifth.
Yeah. And you mentioned that Spring Hill Hawks game could have gone to overtime. Spring Hill finished the game on the power play, and they were pressing hard.
A 5-on-3 power play.
Yeah. Man, it was tight. It was a close game. It was
That was a nail biter though, because there's 18 seconds left. They're on the power play, and the Hawks take another penalty.
yeah.
Um, was it Jeremy Hebert? He put the puck in the corner and he just stuck to it like glue.
Yeah, they definitely killed the rest of the clock. There was like 5 seconds left, and they were just sticking on it. Man, great game. So
Yeah,
much fun to watch. The crowd was
great game. The crowd was a little angered towards the referees.
Oh yeah.
I think I even heard "I'm blind, I'm deaf, I want to be a ref" chant.
It's a good one.
If you follow Habs Fan TV on TikTok, you'll see that and the Caulfield's on Fire song.
Wait a second. Were
But
you the one that chanted it?
did you hear me chant it? You were right next to me.
My hearing's not that great, so maybe I'm not sure.
I know your hearing's not. You and your sister both.
Yeah, jeez.
I'm right in front of Cheryl's face, and I'm saying something, and she looks at me with a blank expression and goes, "Huh?" I'm like, "Are you serious? There's nothing around us. How did you not hear me?" She's like, "What?" I give up.
Yeah, you just got to quit at that point. You just got to quit. Trying to get
Maybe
out
you
of
and your
the.
sister could be referees.
We're not blind though. We're just deaf.
Just take your glasses off.
That's true. Trying to get out of the rink yesterday, I saw almost saw 3 or 4 accidents.
Ugh.
Driving in Riverview
Oh,
was awful.
funny enough, when I got there yesterday, I nearly saw a lady get squashed by a car.
Oh my god.
So there's a basketball game. What's the basketball league?
It's like a Filipino basketball league. There's a team from Shediac and
Yeah,
a couple other teams. Really, they're having a blast doing it.
and yeah, but there was a Filipino lady walking in the street, and one of the guys was pulling out,
Uh,
and she stopped, and he stopped at the same time, but he was going fast enough where if he would have hit her, she would have flew,
man, what I saw was
and that was
people
right in front of me.
people leaving the rink and assuming that the car that's in the road is going to give them right of way so they could leave, but then the car that's in the road did not give them right of way. So then it ended up being like a car trying to turn into the arena and 2 cars next to each other leaving the arena. It was not
And then they're
wasn't a
stuck
good
there, and
scene.
we're stuck there for an hour.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to get out of, man. I hate it. When you compare that to Spring Hill or Miramichi, where you just drive out, it's so freaking easy to get out of those
Yeah,
rinks.
I think Rishibuktu has to have the worst when it comes to parking
Yeah,
because it reminds me of you would go see a wrestling show, or better yet, you'd go see a concert at the Moncton Coliseum,
yeah,
and whoever your drive would be, if not yourself, you're stuck there for what feels like forever.
yeah,
And then you finally get to the lights, and the lights turn red on you, and then you're there for another 5 minutes, and you're like, oh, you just feel like ripping your hair out.
yeah. The traffic leaving events is the worst, man. It's not so bad anymore with the Avenir.
Oh,
The Avenir makes it pretty easy to get out.
yeah. The parking, paying for parking is something I've always been against.
Yeah, and it's expensive. It's gone up this year. It's $12 now.
Yeah, yeah. I've never been a fan of that. Um, the Coliseum, the best thing about the Coliseum, they had a massive parking lot
Yeah,
that would fit what 300,000 people. There are more
The
parking
parking lot?
spots than people ever were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the parking lot is they could have held outdoor concerts at that parking lot.
they could have.
I
I'm
went
sure
to
there's
some
something that happened there before.
I went to some phenomenal like Moncton exhibition fair things in that parking lot. I had some great times there.
Yeah.
I can confirm to you, Corey, that there is a reason you didn't see any cat ass today, and that's because the cat's downstairs. I made sure she wasn't in this room.
I got my cat sleeping next to the heater right now. It looks like he's cold.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
it's the season, man. It's getting colder.
but yeah, I went for my daily walk earlier, and didn't really notice, but I had some nose sickles
Oh,
hanging down, some snot sickles.
I'm sure that I'm not the only person listening to this that's disgusted right now. Thanks for that, Corey.
It really was. I was as disgusted.
Well, I think that's about all we have for this episode. Um,
You're
for
welcome, everybody.
for Snotsicle Corey Votour, I'm your host Corey. Thank you for listening. We'll see you soon.
Take care.